Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review, continuing on with all of my birthday items that I got this year. We're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Rebirth Gigantic Thrashers Tyrannotitan. So this is a brand new species that Mattel made last year for the Rebirth toy line, a figure that I've been wanting to add to my collection, and now I finally have it. This is actually a carcharodontosaur, and I'm actually all up to date in terms of carcharodontosaurs from Mattel, so I'm really excited to have this one because I just think this is such a cool dinosaur. It has a really awesome name in my opinion, Tyrannotitan, which obviously you might think it's some sort of tyrannosaur, but it's actually a carcharodontosaur. And yeah, I'm very pleased to have this one in my collection. Been wanting this one for a while because this one that was like released last year, I think it was like part of wave 1 of the Rebirth figures. But yeah, very excited to have this one. Brief look at the packaging. It's your standard Rebirth packaging for the gigantic Thrashers, much like the Tyrannosaurus that we reviewed previously. I know the box is a little damaged, but I really don't care about the box. It's mainly the figure you're getting. So that's all I care about, is just the figure. But the packaging is your standard Rebirth packaging for the gigantic Thrashers. You got the Rebirth logo, the gigantic Thrashers Tyrannotitan. You got the Rebirth Spinosaurus, Mattel logo, the cool sunset in the background, the cool colors, the black, reds, and the white colors. You can see the figure has a little arrows showing you that you do move it around with the tail. On this side it says Jurassic World Rebirth. On this side also Jurassic World Rebirth. And then here on the side it shows you a cool little render of the figure. You can twist the tail. So basically this one has like the cool primal attack looking gimmick, which I absolutely love. The Rebirth logo, facts up information, and the other one, a part of this assortment, which I'm still looking for, which is the Triceratops. And then we also have gigantic Thrashers Tyrannotitan, part of the land area, total thrashing action. You can move the tail up and down, all around chomp, and the Mattel logo. And that's basically it for the packaging. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this cool dinosaur. Alrighty, so here we have the gigantic Thrashers Tyrannotitan out of the box. And I really do like the look of this one. It's not entirely like the most accurate representation of Tyrannotitan. I mean, this is a Jurassic figure, so they're not going to look 100% accurate anyway. But I mean, proportions wise, I mean, it doesn't really like show a lot of the typical aspects that you would get with a normal carcharodontosaur, which is what Tyrannotitan is. So it's in the same group as like Giganotosaurus and carcharodontosaurus and all that. But ignoring like the paleontological, accuracies and all that, or I guess I should say inaccuracies, but either way, I really do love the way this one looks. I love the sculpt. I love the overall, silhouette. I just love the, what's going on here with like the little spikes or quills. And I really love the colors on this one. So, yeah, I really do like this one a lot. Taking a closer look at the detail here. The detail is really good on this one. Mattel will never cease to amaze me with how good they do their detail in the sculpt, with the scales or just the wrinkly skin or feathers or maybe a mix of all three. But yeah, the typical detail that you get with these Mattel figures is always going to be amazing, and it's really good on this one as well. So taking a look at the head sculpt, which actually looks like a carcharodontosaur skull. In terms of the skull shape, it really does look like it belongs in that certain group, which is really good because it makes a lot of sense considering that this is part of the carcharodontosaur group. So yeah, I really do like the way the skull looks. Again, very shrink wrapped, which is very typical, but I don't really think it's a big deal in my opinion, at least for a Jurassic toy. The nostrils are sculpted very nicely. Hope you guys can see it well. The lighting's not very good. But yeah, I really do like the detail on it. I really like how the entire head sculpt has like these giant scales all over the front part of its face. Like here on the snout, you can see those giant scales sculpted on there. Like they're not super tiny like they are kind of in some areas around the face, but they are very large here at the front of the snout, and it kind of grows to more smaller scales around the back side of the the face right here, which is kind of hard to see with the colors and the way how they're just printed on instead of being painted. It kind of alters the sculpt a little bit, so it kind of makes it hard to locate a lot of the scaling. Again, a lot of it is due to the lighting, but there is some smaller scales around the back side of the face, as you can see, going along the little ridge back here above the eye. You can see some smaller ones right here, and then just kind of grows into larger scales around the front of the snout, as you can kind of see right here. There might be a little bit more of those larger scales here around this little hole opening of the skull. And you got some scales along the mouth itself, which look really nice. You got some little spikes going up here with some more bumpy, scaly texture. And then the teeth are really nice as well. Of course, they're made of that rubbery material, so you can have this guy, you know, bite onto any dinosaur and those teeth are not going to get scuffed. So that's always a plus in my opinion. The lower jaw teeth look really great as well. I like how they're kind of sculpted on the inside of the lower jaw's lips, which gives it a much more naturalistic look to it. The tongue doesn't have a lot of texture, but it's very smooth. It has like a cool little glossy coat on it, which gives it that really nice naturalistic, you know, saliva look, like you get with real animals today. The little flaps of tissue right here look really nice, and the detail here at the roof of the mouth looks nice as well. So pretty decent detail. On the lower jaw though, you got a lot of scaling going on here. You got some larger scales towards the back of the jaw, and it kind of fades into, well, they kind of get smaller, but they're still pretty large scales. So this face of the Tyrannotitan is covered in just pretty much large scales. Kind of reminding me that of a snake. Snakes have like really large scales on their faces, so that's what I'm reminded of. But it looks really good though. The detail is great on this one, on the jaw. Moving down the neck, you got some really nice bumpy texture in the scales and the skin up here, which look really good. And you get kind of fades into the smaller scales towards as you go down the neck, and you get some more smaller scales throughout the rest of the neck actually. And you get some nice little folds in the skin right here, which look really nice. And you got a really cool little dewlap, or this hanging flappy piece of skin down here, which look really cool. And I like how it's very spiky too. It's giving it kind of that really cool, kind of intimidating look to it for a dinosaur. Like this is like your classic dinosaur look, where that's not really focusing on accuracy per se, but they give it a lot of spikes, so it just has a really cool appearance. Because overall, this really does remind me of, again, I say this a lot, but those May Animal Planet dinosaur toys, where a lot of them are very spiky in terms of their sculpt. So I think that is a really cool little touch. And plus, these little spikes are made of a softer rubbery material, so they look very sharp, which is really cool, but they're very soft, so you can rub your finger against it and it won't, well, they won't scuff, but obviously it's not going to hurt you. Same thing can be applied with the spikes on the top of the neck right here. Very sharp looking, which again looks really cool, adds to that really cool menacing look to it. But these up here are made of a softer rubbery material, so very, very flimsy, and you're not going to hurt yourself with that. So that is really cool. Moving down the body, you got a nice amount of detail going along the body. Nice larger scales towards the top half of the body, and then it kind of fades into the smaller side scales that you get for the rest of pretty much the rest of the body. Actually, you get some here on the arms and on the side of the body. I like the muscles poking through the skin. You can see the little ribs poking out right there. So really nice detail in the scaling. So Mattel did an excellent job as usual with that. The arms look really nice too. Nice amount of skin detail, which kind of looks like it's more of a mix between skin, like just normal like wrinkly skin texture, and scales. So it's kind of like a mix of that. That's kind of what I'm getting throughout the rest of the body as well. So that looks really cool. The hands are really cool too. You get nice little ridges on each of the fingers and really long claws for a carcharodontosaur. But they look really good too. Nice and sharp for the most part. Not super sharp, but they are pretty sharp looking. So that looks really good in my opinion. And then moving down to the legs, really nice amount of muscle definition on the legs as well. And then you got a really nice detail in the scales on the leg itself. Again, it looks like a mix between scales and a little bit of that wrinkly skin texture, kind of like what you see on an elephant, which I do compare it to that a lot on my channel. But yeah, really nice detail over here, and it kind of continues all the way down to the rest of the leg, where you get a lot of cool, you know, muscles going down the leg, and then nice amount of detail on the feet as well. Nice scales throughout the rest of the foot. Nice ridges going up the toes, and the claws look really nice as well. Here at the bottoms of the feet, nice amount of wrinkly texture. You got the T-Rex logo right there, as well as the scan code on the other one. And then you also got the little dew claw right here, which looks really nice as well. And then moving on through the rest of the tail, you got nice amount of detail, basically what you got with the rest of the body, continuing all the way down to the tip of the tail. So nice scales and skin texture, where actually it looks more like scales actually as you get down to the tail. But yeah, the detail is phenomenal as you go down to the tip of the tail. On the underside, more scaling. Really nice looking scaling here on the underside, which looks really good. I always like this kind of texture that Mattel likes to do, because it's very realistic. If you put this on real feel rubber, that's gonna feel like actual dinosaur or lizard skin, which is really cool. So I really do like the detail that Mattel put on the underside of this figure, and you kind of get that all the way down to the tip of the tail. So really nice scale work here. And in terms of little spiky portions that we have, you get larger spikes here towards the top of the dinosaur, which again look very nice and sharp, but they're also made of a rubber material. But these little spikes right here are part of hard plastic, so but they're not really sharp at all. So you got that, and those little spikes continue all the way down to the tip of the tail. You even got some more spikes here on the underside of the tail, as you can see, made of hard plastic. And actually this whole segment of the tail, where you can see it twist, is all made of one solid, kind of a rubbery, like a sturdier rubbery plastic. So it's all molded in one color, so you're not going to get scuffiness on this one. And speaking of the tail, I love what they did with the tail. It's very unique for a carcharodontosaur, but it gives me Scorpius Rex vibes, because it's very heavily quilled. Looks like it's got quills that you can use to inject venom like the Scorpius Rex, but I don't think that's what they're going for with this one. I think it's just for part of the design. It's got all these little quills, so I'm sure it'd probably do some damage if you did like a tail swipe at a competitor or something. But I really do like the way these look. Really nice, large, spiky quills all over this tail, which, yeah, look really cool. Adds to the really cool, unique looking design for this dinosaur. And another thing I want to point out too, you got these little parts here on the arms, these little things that stick out of the sculpt, especially here on the leg, and you got a little bit more of that on the tail, and a bit more on the body, and a little bit on the neck. I can't even tell if those are supposed to be like large scales, oddly shaped scales, or not, but the way they looked, how they're very thin, and they have kind of like a pointed edge towards the top, I wonder if these are just more variants of these quills sticking out of the skin, and they're just kind of pointing up or something. Kind of like the quills you would see like on the arms of the hybrids from the movies, like Indominus Rex or the Indoraptor. So these might be little quill-looking structures that you see right here. They're just not sticking out like these ones are. They're kind of molded into the skin, but they make it look like they are sticking out, which is actually a really cool little design choice, in my opinion. You got some on the arms and some on the legs, and you got some here on the body. You got some which look like large scales right here. These ones look like actual large scales. Everything else looks like, or I mean, these ones look like large scales too, the more I look at it. So I don't know. I can't tell. They might be scales. They might be little quills. I don't know. But either way, it adds to the really cool looking detail that we have on this figure. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of detail. For colors, I love the colors on this Tyrannotitan, like I said. The colors are very tropical, in my opinion. They look very tropical, something you'd see in a rainforest or something. Even though I don't think Tyrannotitan maybe lived in a rainforest. I mean, of course, I'm not familiar with environments necessarily. But yeah, and again, very Chatmay Animal Planet like in terms of the colors. They're all those dinosaurs are usually brightly colored. Which is the vibes I'm getting with this figure. But yeah, I really love the color choices, and the application is actually really nice too. Sometimes the application is a little iffy on some Mattel figures, but a lot of the times they're really nice, and this one's one of the nice ones. So in terms of paint application, of course. But yeah, you got like this for the main color. You got like this nice shade of green for majority of the body, and then you got like a darker green, maybe like a I don't know what color you'd really call this. It's more of a green than a blue. But you got some of that green covers the entire top half of the skull. Then it kind of stripes down the neck, stripes and splotches down the body, goes down the tail, and pretty much covers the entire rest of the tail, which looks really good. That those two different shades of green actually pop and work really well with each other. It's kind of hard to really capture that outside in my review, but if you see it in person, the colors look really nice. And I like how the bottom part of the tail is like this green color, and it kind of, I don't know, just the way they apply both colors to the tail feels a lot more complete when they do that. Though of course they could have added a bit more of this darker green, maybe kind of fading into the main body right here, just so it looks like it doesn't abruptly stop right there. And then also towards the head is the main selling point in terms of the colors, because it's, you know, it's very much highlighted here. So you got a nice reddish orange eye with a slit pupil, which actually makes it look really menacing. And then you got cool, like little splotchy, stripy looking patterns on its face. You got some that are green right here, and then some here that kind of fade from like a yellowish green color to an orange to like a reddish orange. So it has like this really cool little fading effect on the colors right here, which look really nice. And on the lower jaw, you got this, it's all yellow, but then it fades into like this orange and reddish orange color, and you got a little bit of that reddish orange for the throat, where it kind of highlights this little hanging flabby skin piece, which looks really nice. I really do love that. So I really do love the colors on the face. And then of course the inside of the mouth have a pink fleshy color, and then the teeth are molded in an off-white. So yeah, the paint job is really good on this one. Sadly, there is no claw paint, obviously, on this one. So, but I mean, that's to be expected with a lot of Mattel figures. I do apologize, the dogs. It's the neighbor's dogs from across the street. Yeah, paint job really excellent on this one. So yeah, articulation wise, there isn't really actually a whole lot. Everything else is due to the action feature, but the legs though, they can move forward and backwards in kind of like a stiff ratchet movement, but each leg can move individually up and down or forward and backwards. Then you got ankle movements, and then you got the little tail segment right here, which can move. Everything else is due to the action feature. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the action feature, which again is very Primal Attack like. So if you move the tail up and down, you get to make the jaw open and close. So this is just pulling it down, and if you push it up, it does the same thing, opens the jaw really wide, which looks really nice. So I really do love this motion that you've heard me say multiple times, but yeah, I really do like it. But you can also twist it. If you twist it to the right, the jaw opens, the neck twists, and this left arm gets lifted up, and the same thing is applied when you twist it to the left, except it's on the opposite side. So you get some really cool motion with that. I like how the arms move. So kind of similar to what you got with the Tyrannosaurus before. But yeah, I really do like this motion that you get. So yeah, action feature is awesome on this one. So yeah, let's go ahead and do some comparisons. Alrighty, so to start off, here we got a human figure, we got Dr. Henry Loomis, and this is kind of like another thing where this Tyrannotitan is not entirely accurate, and that's the size. And unfortunately, this is what the other carcharodontosaurs of this size range that we've gotten have all suffered from, and that's incorrect scaling. Tyrannotitan, as well as others, were pretty large. I mean, they weren't like Giga huge or T-Rex huge, but they're still pretty large, definitely much bigger than what we get here. So Tyrannotitan would be much bigger compared to a human figure. But you know, it might be just because since this is not a movie dinosaur, they're not gonna make it super big or something like that. But that would be cool if they did make the scaling very accurate. But you know, it is what it is. And then finally, here we have the Tyrannotitan compared with the other carcharodontosaurs of this size range. We have the Carcharodontosaurus itself and the Mapusaurus. And all three of these look really nice together. I love, you know, like I said many times, I love when Mattel continues to expand and grow certain dinosaur groups. Like we have so many carcharodontosaurs, so many abelisaurs and ceratopsians and tyrannosaurs. Like it's awesome. So it's nice to have another carcharodontosaur added to the collection. But like I said, these three suffer from the same thing, and that's size. They're definitely should not be this small compared to a human figure. But by themselves, they look really nice. I would say the Mapusaurus is probably the only accurate one in terms of proportions. Like it's got a really big head and smaller arms. Sadly, the carcharodontosaurus and the Tyrannotitan don't really have that. But you know, regardless, their designs look really cool on this one. I love the colors as well. So yeah, the three of these look really great next to each other. Alrighty everyone, so that's about to wrap it up for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For my final thoughts, I really do enjoy this Tyrannotitan figure a lot. I love the sculpt on it, you know, the detail, and I absolutely love the colors on it. And I love the little spiky looks that it has on it. It's very unique. So yeah, I really do like this one a lot. I mean, I recommend it just for picking it up because it's a cool figure. But you know, that's just my own opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.